Good morning, students. We are here again for the online lecture of the DAC subject. In the last previous lecture, we have studied the various data structures, right? Now, types of the data structures. Now, we will go for the one type of data structure, that is array. Now, when we want to store some value, we require variable for that purpose, right? A variable can store a single value in it. Okay, but suppose what if we want to store same type of multiple values for the program. For example, instead of using one single number, I want to store multiple numbers in a given program. So for that purpose, what I have to do, I can either go by using number of variables. If there are 10 numbers I will require in the program, then I have to use the 10 variables, right, for storing the 10 values. Another method, instead of using this 10 variables, what we will do, we will make use of array. Now array is nothing but a single variable concept, or we can say it is a data structure that stores multiple values of the same type. Okay, so array, it is a data structure that stores a fixed size sequential collection of elements of the same type. That means it has a fixed size which is decided at the time of the compilation during the program, and it can store the elements which have same types. Same types means same data types. Either you can store multiple numbers or multiple characters or multiple strings or multiple fractional numbers. It depends upon you. So to store the data having n more than one number or more than one value, we can store it by using a array. Okay, then next point is array consists of contiguous memory allocation. Now when a variable is declared, you know that a memory is allocated depending upon the size required by that variable. Okay, similarly array is also data structure. To store these values, we will also require one memory. So for array, a continuous block of memory is allocated in the main memory of your computer. Okay, now, array can be an integer, character, or a float type, depending upon the data type of that array. Means what values we have to store in the array, its data type is decided accordingly. Okay. So basically, you can consider array as a container that holds some multiple values in it, and these values have a specific type, either a similar type. Okay, we cannot store the values of different types together in an array. Okay, now, the lowest address of the array corresponds to the first element, and the highest address corresponds to the last elements. Now, how this array is stored, that we will see in the memory. Suppose memory, a continuous block is allocated, right, to store the array. So the first or the lowest address of that memory will hold the first element, and the highest address will hold the last element in it. Okay, now, for declaration purpose, the array, we have to define its type, then specify the array name, followed by square brackets, and we have to specify how many elements should be are going to be stored into that array, or we can say the size of array. Okay, syntax is like this. That is, this type is nothing but a data type. That is what type of elements that we are going to store in the array, and this is array name. Like a variable name, you can give any name to the array, then followed by a square brackets, and in the bracket you have to mention the size. Suppose you have to store 10 values, then you can mention the values 10 over here. If you have to store 50 values, you can mention the value 50 over here. Okay, next. Okay, uh, this is a diagrammatical representation of array. Now int num6, that means this is the declaration of the variable start whose name is num. Okay, int is the data type, then num is the name of that array, and 6 is the size, that is the number of elements that will be stored into the this array. Okay, so int is the base type of array, num is the name of the array, and 6 is the size of the array. When you are going to store the values in the array, what will happen? The first number will correspond, the first va- place will hold the first number, and it corresponds to the index 0. Okay, so num of 0 will have the first value, num of 1 will have the second value, num of 2 will have third value. Like this, num of 5 will have the value, last value, that is the sixth value. Okay, so total 6 elements are stored, so their index will range from 0 to 5. Okay, there's a continuous block of memory will be allocated in the main memory of the computer system. Got it? Everyone got how the array is what is array, how it is declared, and how it is stored in the memory. Okay, now there are different types of arrays. First is one dimensional array, two dimensional array, and multi-dimensional array. We will see each of them one by one. Okay, first is one dimensional array. It is a type of array in which all the elements are arranged in the form of list, and it is known as a 1D array or a single dimensional array, or you can simply call it as a linear list. Okay, the declaration is same as that we have seen earlier, that is the data type, array name, in square brackets its size. Example is like this. Okay, now in the memory allocation, how a memory representation, how this number are stored. Now suppose I have to store 10 numbers in single dimensional array. Okay, so the its declaration will be like this: int num of 10. Okay, now in memory allocation, a continuous block of 10 will be allocated for that. Now my array type is integer, so can anyone tell me how much size an integer is required? What is the number of bytes that a integer require to be stored? Does anyone knows?
4 to 8.
4 to 8.
8 bytes.
8 bytes. Okay, I'll tell you. If you are using a normal Windows system, it actually depends upon the compiler or the system that you use. If you are using a normal Windows system, only 2 bytes of memories are required to store the integer value. But if you are using a Ubuntu operating system, at that place 4 bytes are required to store the integer number. Okay, so this example I have taken for a normal Windows system. Okay, so here a continuous block of memory will be allocated. 10 numbers store करायचे आहेत. Each number will require 2 bytes of memory, so total 10 numbers will require 20 bytes of memory. Getting it? Starting address in a memory location, it can be anything. For example, over here it is a 2000. Okay, now first element, that is num of 0, will be stored at this 2000 memory allocation. Then the next number for storing this first number, your value is 39. Okay, this 2000 is nothing but the value is going to be stored, and you are representing this number in your program with this symbol, that is num 0. Okay, now this number will require 2 bytes of memory, so 2000 next element will be stored at the 2000 plus its 2 byte, that is 2002. So second number will be stored at 2002 location. Similarly, all these elements will be stored occupying 2 bytes of memory each. Okay, now, how to calculate the total memory in bytes? So total memory in bytes that an array is occupied is equal to size of array is equals to size of array into size of its base type. Now size of array is nothing but the how many elements you are going to store in that array. That is total 10 elements. And size of base type is nothing but integers. So integers size is 2 bytes for Windows. So 10 into 2, that is 20. So total 20 bytes will be required to store the this array, which is going to hold a 10 integer values in it. Got the memory representation, everyone? Yes. Okay, the next point is memory address calculation in 1D array. Now Suppose a given array is given and we have to calculate its memory address of a particular element, how it is done. So for that purpose, some basic concept should be clear. So we will see, suppose this is an array having six elements stored. The elements are 15, 7, 11, 44, 13, 93, and 20. Okay, so first column is given by the actual addresses, that is, this is 1100 is the base address of the starting address. Okay, so it is the address of first element in the array, hence it is called as a base address of a array. Okay, now this example I have taken for the ubuntu purpose. So the number of bytes for integer will be 4. So next element will be stored at the 100 and 1104 place. Okay, that is 1104. Next element will be stored at plus 4, that is 1108. Okay, now width, next term is width. Width is nothing but is the how many bytes are required to store a single element. So here it requires 4 bytes, right? Now we address this array elements by using some index or the subscript. So first element is address is always stored at 0th. It is always considered as a 0th element of the array. So the index starts from 0. Total 6 elements are there. So the array elements will be subscripted by from 0 to 5. Okay, so lower bound or the bound of the subscript is nothing but the 0. Okay, got this. Now calculation of the address of an element, particular element. Now array of elements, say let's say a of I is calculated by using this formula, that is b, that is base address plus width into uh, subscript of the element whose address is to be found minus the lower limit or the lower bound of the subscript. Okay, this is the formula to calculate the address. Now for example, suppose we have to calculate the address of 44 element. In the previous example was this. Here we have to calculate the address of this 44 element. Okay, so 44 element will be considered. Its base address is nothing but 1100. B value is 1100. Then width is nothing but, since it is an integer and a ubuntu we are using, so width will be 4. L is nothing but the index of that 44. 44 is nothing but a fourth element. Index starts from 0, so its index will be 3, right? And lower bound is always 0 because the first element is always stored at the 0th place. So we have got the values. Now address calculation is equals to b plus w into I minus lb. So w is 1100 plus 4 into 3 minus 0, that is 1112. We will check whether we get the same address or not. Yes, we got the same address of that element. So by using this formula, we can calculate or we can find the memory address of any element present in the given address. With the prior condition, we know all these things, that is its base address. Only the condition is that we should know the base address. Okay, because width we know, we can calculate it, because if it is an integer it can be a 4 byte. If it is a character, then it must be a 1 byte. For float, it requires 4 bytes of memory, so width will be 4 for float type of array. Then I is nothing but the index of that variable. So if we have to calculate the index at memory address of fifth element, so I can take I as fifth element. LB is the lower bound, it always starts with the 0. So using above formula, we can calculate address of any element that is present in the array. Got everyone? How to calculate the address? Any doubt in this? Dear students, question may be asked how to calculate the address of the given element in the array. So is there any problem? Okay, fine. So consider, this is a short example. Consider a character array whose name is A and its size is 26, having data as alphabets A to Z. Okay, starting address is 100. So find the address of alphabet J. So solve this example in your notebook and post your answer in the chat box. We will wait for 2 minutes. Okay, it just requires the 2 minutes. Okay, I'll give a just hint. Character array आहे, so character ची width, what will be the width of the character? For character it is 1 byte, right? And for float it is 4 bytes. Okay, array name is A, its size is 26, so elements will be stored from 0 to 25, right? J is which element? Start counting from A. J size is J is stored at which index? Is it sixth index? No, right, ninth index. J is a 10th element, but we store the first element at 0th index, starting as 0. So J will be stored at the ninth index, right? So calculate its address. You have all the values. Base address B is equals to 100. W is nothing but width, that is 1 byte. Inner values you know. Okay, I'm getting some answers on the chat box. 109, 109. Yes, correct. It is 109. Okay. So we can again see the previous formula, that is base address plus width into index of element minus the lower bound. So base address is 100, width is 1, base index index of the element is 9 and lower bound is 0. So 9 minus 0 is 9 into 1, that will be 9. Base address is 100, 100 plus 9, 109. Okay, good. Now processing of an array, that is using an array in the program. Now how it is used? Array initialization. First of all, when we are going to use an array, we have to initialize it. Now array can be initialized either at the time of declaration or after that. So initialization process is that we have seen the declaration process. In declaration process, what we do, we just write the data type of that array, then array name and its size. In the initialization, we are assigning the values or we are inserting the values in the array. So for that purpose, this can be done during the declaration. That means where we declare this array by this statement int array of the size, we can also assign the values for that. So it can be done by assigning those values in the curly braces separated by comma if they are the integer values. If they are a character values, then you have to mention those characters uh, in a single colon and the last character will be /0. Now that /0 concept I'll explain you later. First of all, we will just focus on the integer array. Okay. So integer values will be stored in the curly braces separated by comma. Okay. This is one method, or another method is just like that you can declare the array by giving it by the syntax, then assigning the values to the particular index individually. That is, array of 0 is equals to 4, array of 1 is equals to 2, array of 2 is equals to 7, and like on. Okay, this is also one method to initialize the array. Okay. Next is we will see one short program to display the elements present in the array. Now, your first line is to include the IO stream, that is header file, input output stream, then using namespace. In this, we have declared the array as well as we have initialized the array. That is, array ARR of file size is declared. that is 5 elements will be stored. The index of first element is 0, 12 element is 1, 7 is 2, 15 is 3, and 9 is 4. Okay. Now, since there are multiple elements stored in the array, uh, sorry, this one is the declaration and initialization of array. Now, the main task is we have to display these array elements, right? Now, when we have to display a variable value, what we write? We just write a single cout statement, cout, and the variable name, right? But since the array consists of multiple values, we cannot write a single statement, that is cout and the array name. If we write, it will just display the first element present in the array. And we want all the elements should be displayed. So displaying elements of the array is a continuous process, or multiple times we have to do it, because first of all we will display the first element, then display the second element, then display the third element, okay, from the same array, right? So it is a multiple times we are repeating the steps. So we will use the loop concept over here for displaying the elements, okay. So what we will do, we know we have the index of this array element starting from 0, and since there are 5 elements, the index will ranges from 0 to 4. So what I will do, I will take one variable I is equals to 0, I less than 5. This is nothing but the size of array, and I plus plus. What I will do, cout array of I, that is initially, since my value of I is 0, AR of in square bracket I, that is 0, array of 0, that value is nothing but 4. So cout 4 will be displayed. Again, increment I becomes 1. Check the condition true. So cout array of 1. Array of 1 is nothing but value is 12. So cout 12, that is 12 value will be displayed on the screen. Similarly, for displaying these values, it will repeat the for loop. And when it comes to the last element, I value will be 4. Array of 4 will be displayed. Increment I becomes 5. This condition becomes false, and it will come out of the for loop, and it will terminate the program. And your output will be 4, 12, 7, 15, and 9. Okay, got it? How to display the elements of array? Everyone, any doubt till now? Okay. So you have notebooks along with you. So we will write one program. So write a program to display the array elements in the reverse order. Consider same array having 5 elements and same elements. Now how you will do it?
Ma'am, in the for loop, we'll put I equal to 5 and decrement operator will be used.
And what will be the condition?
Uh, for int I equal to 5, I greater than, no, I greater than 1, I minus minus.
I greater than 1. So it will just display the values of A of array of 5, 4, 3, 2. When it will come to 1, it will terminate the condition, and it will not display this 2 elements, that is 12 and 4. Your concept is correct. That is, we will initialize I is equals to 5. I should be greater than equals to 0, because the last element is at 0th index, right? So greater than or equals to 0 and I plus plus. Okay, this will be the condition. Sorry, not I plus plus. It should be I minus minus, and cout A of I. Okay, got it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So for today, we will stop over here only. Okay. Thank you for listening.